ทิ้งไว้ก่อนไปถึงทิ้งไว้นะคะจะทิ้งไว้ไหม4 โมง3 โมงครึ่ง3 โมงครึ่ง3 โมงครึ่ง
Vâng, con thấy ạ.
There is a lady who wanted to ask a question last time, but I don't see her yet. So there was a question in the Vietnamese discussion, so maybe I can raise the question here from a channel from you. And the question was about the difference between Manasikara and Chetana, because it seems to be very similar. So we discussed a little bit about it, but I think it would be helpful if we can hear more. Thank you.
So it's now, at this moment, whatever citta arises to experience the object, no matter whether it's seeing or hearing or thinking, at each moment there is the attending to the object. This is the function of manasikara. So no matter whether it's arising with a vipaka citta or kusala citta or akusala citta, it attends to the object experienced at each moment. When it attends with the kusala citta, kusala factors, then it attends to the object in a wholesome way. When it arises with unwholesome factors, it attends to the object in an unwholesome way. But it's always just for a moment, arising and falling away. No one who attends, no one who does anything, just the mental factor that arises with the citta and other cetasikas, at least 6 other cetasikas, attending to what is experienced. Without manasikara, citta and the other cetasikas couldn't arise. So this is in brief, and it's at this very moment. No one decides to attend to a visible object or sound now, but manasikara arises and attends to what is experienced at every moment. And this is quite different from cetana. Cetana also arises with every citta, but it has a different function. It doesn't attend to anything. It coordinates the other cetasikas and the citta it arises with so that they can perform their functions, like the school prefect coordinates the other students to each do their job. So it coordinates. In English, we have the word intends, but not to be mixed with attends, quite different meaning. So at each moment, the cetana coordinates the other nama dhammas. And at moments of kusala and akusala, it intends, it wills in a wholesome or unwholesome way. So again, the citta and cetasikas can perform their functions. So this is in brief, and I'm sure Ajahn will add more.
If Buddha didn't say anything about the difference between what is there in a moment, citta and cittasika, there cannot be any hint or any way to understand the truth that is so very subtle of them. For example, even just a moment of seeing, there must be phassa, see, otherwise there cannot be the moment of seeing at all. But whenever there is seeing, the other cetasikas like manasikara attend to that which is seen, because all cetasikas experience the same object which arises, which citta experiences. That's why phassa is there, sanya is there, feeling is there. See, unknown, but they are there. Cetana is there. Manasikara is there. That which attend to the characteristic which appears wisely or unwisely, or just attend to the characteristic which is there unknown, that now it is attending a reality like just a person who performs the function of attend to that object. So now, Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, Cetana, Ekaggata, Chivittindriyas, and Manasikara, all are there, perform each different function by different Jetasikas. So it depends on whether it arises with Vipaka Citta or Kusala Citta or Akusala Citta, wise attention or unwise attention, depending on conditions. But it's that which attend to the characteristic of that which appears wisely with other Jetasikas, which are wise too, wisely or unwise. That's why there has to be the understanding of different Cetasika to understand that they are all conditioned reality. No one there. The truth is that actually there are different realities arising, performing each different function by each different Cetasika. So now at moment of attending to the sound, the word, the meaning, and right understanding develops because it attend wisely, understand what is there as that which experiences, not that which does not experience. See, each moment there is manasikara, cetasika, at different degrees by different reality which conditions whatever arises there. Begin to understand the truth that no eye who can attend to the whisper object or the sound or what is there at all. There are different realities arising together, and one reality, one cetasika, arises with each citta. Attend, it has the function to attend just to the object. That's all. It's not panya, but it is there. Attend the characteristic wisely, carefully, so right understanding, understand it and develops on and on and on. Then there is more and more wise attention, little by little. That's why there is the word attention, please, because it does not appear that there is attention already, but not to that particular object that we'd like everyone to attend to. Now, attention please, it's there already. So just wake it up or just help it to understand what is meant by attention, but because it's now attending to the object, to the sound. Just learn to understand each different reality in life. It's there in life at moment of reading, attending to the subtlety of what is there. Just one word, Dhamma, without attention of the reality which attend to what is there, little by little to the word of truth. There can never be the understanding. That's why there is wise attention to be conditioned for right understanding, because of that particular reality is there. Attend to the characteristic of a reality or the word or the meaning each moment. Otherwise, I will attend because the word is heard, attention please. Now it's time to attend, but actually it's there all the time, depending on the degree of what is there to attend to, like attend to asava. See, just the word. See, because asava does not appear when there is seeing. Who knows that there is ignorance as asava is there very slightly, mildly, very little, unknown, because what is known is distinct more than the other reality right then. So now it's the attention of manasikara, ajetasika, a reality at any moment of paying attention, as we know, is that characteristic of a reality arising, performing its function. So it's there all the time with all jittas, one at a time, depending on conditions, to be wisely or unwisely, who knows, until it's thought about, or there are conditions to attend to a reality which perform the function of attending. Now, otherwise, how can it be known if there's no word about it? But what can be the object of understanding at different levels cannot be known, all by conditions. But from hearing, considering, understanding, there can be moment of realizing the truth. From hearing and wise considering to understand what is there, until it's the moment of wise attention, wise manasikara, at moment of whatever appears to be known as it's just a reality. So is it now? And naturally, no one knows whether it appears to be known or not, but begin to understand that what is there in a moment. And when it's known unexpectedly, what is that which is object of understanding? Without understanding from hearing, how can it be known? Even while one pay attention to something, at that moment, there's no understanding of that very moment as not I at all. So what is there now? Citta and seven cetasikas or more, depending on different moments, appearing and disappearing without attention known as it's now attending to whatever is there. All are covered up by ignorance as asvasi, even is there, it's not known until Buddha realized the truth and show the truth in words, different levels to different people. So when there is hearing of the truth, what is that which knows or attending to the meaning to be known that it's true or not, depending on manasikara. It's so true, manasika is right attention. When it's not true, it's unwise manasikara. Dhammas, that which are real, no matter at any time. Dhamma, each Dhamma has its own characteristic. Attention is there, wisely to understand. Whether in a day is there any attention to the truth or not yet. Just attend to other objects in a day. So is there now attention, beginning to think about it, to know that it's there? What is there now? Attention is there. Phassa is there. Cetana is there. But what appears is anatta. No one can make it be object of attention as one can know, but it's there known by that reality which attain according to the level of citta. Like asva, it's there, who knows? But begin to understand how deeply rooted akusala like avijja and tanha always there, and the teaching of the Buddha can condition moment of realizing the truth on and on and on until there can never be that which is wrong understanding and ignorance arising with that which is misunderstanding, never arising again at all in samsara. So at any moment, whatever one reads in Tipitaka, it's there, attention. Any moment in life, there must be attention, manasikara, cetasika.
And I think, Tam, it's rather an important point to clarify, because I think it's an area where there's a lot of wrong teaching and a lot of misunderstanding. I remember one friend told me that he had been taught by his teachers that before every meal one had to sit and make a special yoniso manasikara, like a special intention not to have attachment while eating the lunch or something like this. But it's completely the wrong understanding, the idea that I can have a special intention and not have any lobha arising, and nothing to do with yoniso manasikara, attending wisely at any moment, even in the middle of the lobha whilst eating one's lunch. Nothing to do with making an intention at all. But these are common ideas, I think, that are taught. It's so helpful to understand it's now, at this very moment, at every moment, just attending to what's experienced, that's all. No one who can do anything to make it wise or stop unwise attention or stop lobha or change anything, but there's attending at each moment.
I am sorry because normally I is supposed to be in the translator's seats as well, but I don't see her. So, Hằng, can you help me to?
Hải vào rồi chị.
Hải
Hải vào.
Okay, so Hai is there. It seems good.
You're having to translate everything at the moment.
So no time to switch between different modes. Okay, good. She's here.
We have Hai now. And the lady who brought up the topic, has she arrived yet or not? The one who asked the question.
Không có chị.
I think she's not here yet, so we can just carry on with any other topic. I let Thai now be the MC.
Xin hỏi cả nhà mình có ai có câu hỏi gì không? nếu như I would like to have a question. The other day we talked about how hearing Dhamma is actually also a karma, a result of karma. But I think more about this. I think just a moment of hearing the karma, but the rest of that, for example, understanding what is heard, is actually the accumulated tendency, right? Or the understanding in the past that condition the understanding now. So in short, the question is, can you explain in absolute reality, when we say understanding Dhamma or the opportunity to hear teaching of the Dhamma, then in absolute reality, what is it?
Like you say now, at a moment of hearing, hearing just hears sound. So many, countless moments of hearing countless sounds. And in between, there is thinking about the sound, thinking about the meanings. So there comes to be the thinking about what the words represent, like manasikara. Actually, it's just sound that is heard, but there is the recognition of those sounds. And as you say, because of the accumulations, thinking about those sounds, those meanings, those words in different ways. When I hear sounds spoken in Vietnamese, very little thinking, because it doesn't make any sense.
Is it okay?
Okay now?
Ví dụ như khi tôi nghe chẳng hạn thì sẽ không có cái hiểu. Sorry, I couldn't find the button to unmute, but it's good now. Yeah.
So if I listen in Vietnamese, sounds heard, but not many conditions to think much about what's heard because it doesn't mean anything. But when I hear the sounds in English, like about manasikara, then immediately there's thinking about the sounds, thinking about the meaning, the memory conditions, thinking in different ways. And there can be wise attention with understanding on account of those sounds that have been heard, on account of the thinking about the meaning of the sounds. But when we hear about, for example, Suttamaya Panya, understanding based on what is heard, there has to be the hearing of the sounds, but it's referring to the understanding that develops with thinking about the meaning of those sounds that have been heard. So the hearing of the sounds is the result of karma, but the thinking wisely or unwisely about the meaning is the accumulated tendency, the habit that has accumulated. That is why we have these discussions. So it depends on the accumulated tendencies, whether when hearing about wise attention and unwise attention, it depends whether there is any understanding or not, or whether just sounds are heard without much that wise consideration following. So the hearing of the sound is just a brief moment, the result of karma, but all the thinking about the meaning through the mind door depends on those habits and tendencies that have been accumulated, or the ignorance, the attachment, the wise attending, or depending on the habitual tendencies. conditioned by Pakatu Upanisya Pachya, natural decisive support condition.
Hi, when you asked to explain the hearing the Dhamma in terms of absolute realities, I think you're wondering about karma and vipaka. But when we say that hearing the Dhamma depends on past karma, it's a general kind of working of karma, just like we say that karma can condition rebirth in fortunate circumstances, a good family, a country with pleasant weather and so forth. We are not talking here about what we've learned about karma and vipaka. We are talking about a conditioning arrangement that is more general than that. So we know the moment of hearing is vipaka citta, conditioned by karma in the past. And it may be kusala vipaka or akusala vipaka, depending on the quality of the sound, whether it's a pleasant sound or an unpleasant sound. But the meaning of the words being spoken, it doesn't fall into the category of karma and vipaka. So it's just a general condition. The opportunity to hear the Dhamma is conditioned by deeds done in the past, but it's not a relationship of what we call karma vipaka in the sense of absolute realities, because that only refers to the actual moment of hearing and the quality of the sound being heard.
Yes, thank you. Because I also think about the story that there's I don't know the word in English, but the thousand of the Buddha, because of the he heard Buddha, and he went to one of the very sad dream, and then in that dream he had stuck there for a long time, and then when he returned, he has been said to be one of the Pattaya Buddha. So that means in one of the realms, there's no opportunity to hear about the Dhamma. So that is why the understanding also cannot develop.
The microphone is off. Are you speaking?
Thanks. Sorry, thanks, Tambak. Sorry. As we know, it needs the hearing of the Dhamma in a given lifetime for the accumulated understanding to be rekindled, reawakened each lifetime. And so if there is rebirth into a realm where there is no sound and sight, because it could be rekindled by the written word in theory as well as actual spoken word, then there would be no opportunity for further development in that particular lifetime. It would be like being reborn into a realm where no Dhamma existed at all. That also means no chance for further development in that lifetime, because if there's no Dhamma, there can't be the hearing of the Dhamma, even if there is hearing.
Were you referring to a Pacheka Buddha? I couldn't quite understand what you were saying. We can't hear you. Hi.
Yes, because there was the story was a particular, I cannot remember the name in, let them talk about the English name, but Bodhidharma, and then he, then later on after
Pacheka
he
Buddha
came out
about
of the,
Devadatta.
Okay,
Devadatta.
because we both misheard you a bit. It sounded like Pachaya Buddha or something. So if it's a Pacheka Buddha is fully enlightened, but just not a some Buddha that can teach others, but all the work has been done. The Pacheka Buddha is fully enlightened to the truth, no more task to be done, greater wisdom than an arahat, an ordinary arahat.
Khi mà nói về một đức Phật độc giác thì vị đó
Cô
không.
Chi ơi, em đang mở nhầm, em phải vào cái.
Vâng, em tìm được cái nút này rồi. Sorry, let me one second to finish the translation. Yes.
And so what distinguishes a Buddha from other people is that in that final lifetime, they do not need to hear the Dhamma from another source. They become enlightened on the strength of their own previous development of understanding and their vow, their aspiration to become a Buddha.
Thank you. I know. I think that the reason I asked is because just to break it down a little bit, a situation where we said that the opportunity to hear the Dhamma and to understand the Dhamma is actually there's a lot of the reality in there, and some is the result, but some of that is not necessarily a vipassana, but.
I don't think we have to think too much about Pacheka Buddhas because it's the one that is already fully enlightened from previous hearing and previous lives, ready to become fully enlightened in that lifetime without needing to hear. But for us now, without hearing the sounds, there cannot be the wise considering about the meaning, about what is the truth right now. So there has to be the hearing of those sounds, no matter whether it is by listening or reading, it doesn't matter at all. But without coming across the truth, the teachings from listening or reading, there cannot, or discussion, there cannot be the wise consideration of the meaning, like Yoniso Manasikara. If we just think about it on our own, we have the wrong idea of making a special intention or doing something or thinking wisely. So there has to be the careful considering that what is meant has to refer to Dhamma, Dhamma that is conditioned, Dhamma that arises and falls away, Dhamma that experiences the same object as the citta. So there has to be a lot of wise consideration. This is why when we hear about the important factors, we always hear about hearing the sounds, hearing the truth as taught by the Buddha in whatever means, in whatever way, and then, most important, the wise considering about it. Some people may join the discussion or read the text and go away with no interest or completely the wrong idea of following their practice. So it depends on the very careful, wise consideration about the subtle truths. And this is accumulated as a habit, just as now there is a habit of clinging to what is seen, what is heard, what is tasted, what is thought about all day long. There has to be the accumulation and development of understanding from wise consideration, not from anyone doing anything. If we just read stories about different Pacceka Buddhas, it gets further and further away from this moment. So understanding what is true now, what is the Dhamma now, is much more precious. Otherwise, we just cling to all the different stories about different realms, different rebirths, different kinds of Buddhas, and forget all about the truth now, of seeing now, thinking now, clinging now, ignorance now. Ajahn mentioned the asavas, and we were talking about the asavas earlier. Even now, even whilst discussing, considering the truth, the asavas, the subtle clinging is there, the subtle ignorance is there, the subtle wrong view is there, so quickly after seeing and hearing. So the fire is right now.
Thank you. This is helpful to remind.
Usually we all enjoy the stories, so there's so much more attachment to thinking about Deva stories, ghost stories, birth and death stories, Pacceka Buddha stories. But what about this very moment of thinking? What kind of citta is thinking now? What about the seeing now? What about the clinging at this moment? Because this is Dhamma now that is conditioned. I think last week when Mr. Zhao was asking a question, and Ajahn was emphasizing that it's not just a matter of following words and details and terms, but there has to be the understanding of what is true now. Like we can count how many cittas there are, how many vipaka cittas, how many rupas. But what is the rupa that is touched now? What is seen at this very moment? What kind of citta is thinking now? Is it with wise or unwise attention? So Abhidhamma is actually about this very moment, the Dhamma that arises and falls away now, what appears at this very moment. This is the subtle Dhamma, Abhidhamma, not the lists and the numbers and the details that are memorized.
Yes, thank you. And it's very easy to fall into the trap of being attached to the story or thinking all the time.
So it's natural, but even now there can be a little understanding that even the thinking is not my thinking or your thinking, just citta which arises, thinks about different objects gone at each moment, never to return. So even at the moment of thinking, even at the moment of attachment, these are just dhammas rising and gone. And we can see how whatever arises and falls away is unsatisfactory and dangerous, because there's clinging instantly, clinging to the thinking, clinging to the story, but it's all gone.
I have a further question on manasikara, especially yonito manasikara. So the Buddha talked a lot about yoniso manasikara, especially when he is about to teach the monks, and he said that monks listen when yoniso manasikara will teach you. So is there any special reason that manasikara is usually used? Because it could be like thinking wisely as well. So is there any special reason here? Thank you.
I only heard part of what you said because the quality of the sound isn't very good. But I think, as Ajahn stressed earlier, if there is no attending wisely to the object, panya cannot arise. So at the moment of thinking now, thinking about hardness now, either there is thinking wisely or unwisely. And for panya to arise, there has to be the yoniso manasikara. For any kusala, there has to be yoniso manasikara. But usually when the Buddha talks about yoniso manasikara, usually it's in the context of right understanding of realities arising. So it's an essential quality, it's an essential factor that has to be there. There has to be the passa, there has to be the wise attention, there has to be the right remembrance, there has to be sati. So all these factors have to arise together in order for there to be understanding now of what appears. Perhaps Ajahn would like to add more.
So, what's the point of listening to the teachings of the Buddha about what is there unknown to be known? What's the point? To know the word, to remember the word, the characteristic, or to understand what is there every moment as it is. No one at all. It's there by conditions and then gone and then forget what we have heard until you hear it again and again and again. Understanding the point of not try, not wish to attain the truth so very soon, but what about the understanding of the nature of that? It's not just to be heard, to be talked about, but to develop the understanding of the nature of each different one. It's easy to say nama, rupa, vedana, but they are there without any word, but without the teachings. The word just point to the truth of what is there right now. How can it will be known as he taught, as he realized, for everyone to understand, developing understanding the truth. That's all. And that's all means. That is the non-self. And if there's a I will try, or I will do, I will doubt, and so on, I will understand. That is not the way. But the way is to understand That's why listen to understand. And the understanding works its way because of the understanding of anattanness. Otherwise, it's so very deep. And since ignorance is always there, attachment is always there, how can there be the understanding and the letting go of that which is there? Long time before accumulated on and on and on. That's why just for the sake of understanding, no one there at all. But without understanding, there cannot be the understanding of what is there, the truth of what is there. But listening and then have more confidence, it's true or not. It's true, be true to it, not doing anything, because understanding that which is there, after hearing and considering and understanding that very moment from hearing. That's why after hearing, so many different realities are there, as usual, naturally, but no understanding of anyone if we don't talk about until it's there as condition to just think about it at any time, at any level, unexpectedly, how it comes, and how can be a little more time to understand it and thinking about it, consider about it, short or long. See, sometimes we think just shortly and then gone, followed what is there again as story and people as usual. But sometimes it's longer than that. It depends on conditions. That's why in a day, it's quite far from understanding what is there. Even just to think about it is so rare in a day, or in years, or in months, who knows. That's why all of this rarity understood can letting go the clinging and ignorance and taking it for self just very later when it's right considering. See, it works its way no matter manasikara or panya or whatever, memory and so on. And they appear from moment to moment as someone or something of the story, but in truth, just different realities only in a day. That's why hearing again on and on, any life on and on to understand the truth. And that is letting go at moment of understanding of the path developing naturally with understanding as the foundation for understanding what is there. For example, no matter how long we have listened to the truth about seeing, but seeing is still seeing. It's a little more further understanding of that which sees, and that which sees, only that which sees, just one reality which sees. See? And so many, many different realities in a day, in a moment, not just one. So how long will it take for right understanding to develop, to let go, ignorance and attachment? And that is the way we are talking about. Just it's time to talk about it, to understand it, no matter what we are talking about. Understanding develop just very little, but it's so true. It has to be like that. If there's no hearing, no considering, no discussing at all, how can there be time to think about it, to understand it? That's why it's so natural. We can talk about what is there in the teachings to discuss on the truth, which is so deep. And that is the way. Understanding who's the Buddha and what is meant by Dhamma and what is meant by anatta of any moment. Not just one, but all in life, from life to be known. So when we talk about asava, it's just to be reminded, who knows, without the teachings of the Buddha. That is so real because he taught about the process of what is there now. Not just one moment, not just one process, but so many processes, uncountable, of that which appears as something. And the story of that, and not only one story of whatever is there, see, just covered up the truth on and on and on. That's why it's time to just talk about that which is there to be known. And is there any doubt about that which is so very, very subtle, the answer now? Four kinds of asava. What is the nature of each one? Is it real?
I'll just elaborate a little on them for those who are not so familiar with the asavas. So the asavas are the very subtle kinds of clinging and ignorance that arise now after seeing or hearing three more citas, and then the very subtle akusala citas that follow. So the first kamasava is a very subtle clinging to sense objects, the subtle clinging to what is seen now, long before there's any idea of a shape, a pattern, a color, a person, a sunrise, a tree. Clinging comes in instantly. So we may think that when we're having a Dhamma discussion like now, there's no attachment, but the subtle attachment arises so very quickly after moments of seeing, hearing, and so on. And the second one, bhavasava, refers to the very subtle clinging to experiencing now, clinging to the seeing, to the hearing, to the experiencing of the object now, thinking now. And again, it arises very, very quickly, very soon, unknown. And the third one, didasava, refers to the subtle wrong view. We may think we're not following any wrong practice, we're not concentrating on the abdomen or breath or something like this. But what about the very subtle clinging to I, to something that is seen, not just color that is seen, but the subtle idea of something that is experienced. So ditthi is so very, very common. The asava arises so quickly again after moments of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. Like touching now, just hardness is touched, but so quickly, long before there are any words, there's the idea of something touched. It's not just the element, the hardness, or the heat that is experienced, but it's something. This is ditthasava, very subtle. And the last one, avijjasava, is the subtle ignorance, like now. No knowing of what is experienced, ignorance of the truth. Before there's thinking about the meaning or the words or the object of thinking, what about the ignorance, just not understanding? So most of the time, there is ignorance after seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, and the three citas that follow it. As soon as akusala citas arise, they arise with ignorance. Better to know the truth rather than kid ourselves that just because we're making a generous offering or being kind to our family or attending Dhamma discussions, there must be lots of kusala, moments of kusala, but also many moments of akusala, even now. The asavas are there, ready to accumulate more and more ignorance, more and more attachment. And they're conditioned by the unwholesome tendencies, the anusya. The anusyas are the tendencies that are latent, ready to condition the very slight akusala, such as the asavas, or the stronger akusala. When we know that there's annoyance or anger or attachment, already it's strong attachment, strong anger. The subtle attachment, the subtle ignorance doesn't appear, it's not known. So it's daily life, it's now. Only the arahat is keen asava, the one without asavas at all. No more ignorance, no more attachment of any kind.
Can I ask a small? Yeah.
Please go ahead, Mr. Dhamma.
Yeah. So, our normal life. So I think we should live our normal life as usual and learn to understand the truth right now. Learn all Dhamma,
Có
do
hai người đang dịch ạ.
condition. Know me, know I. And bless our life as usual. I mean, do nothing, not try to do nothing, not try to give up anything. For example, as you already said to me, if in daily life, I play guitar, I keep on, not try to give up. Let's our life as usual. So I may feel a bit hesitant asking this, but I found myself in state of confusion. For example, if my life has some practicing skill, including meditation practice, I wonder if I have to give up anything, for example, meditation, or just let it do by their condition. Just small question, small idea.
More question, but very important topic and points to discuss. So actually, each moment now, each moment of thinking, shall I do the meditation or shall I stop the meditation? Shall I play the guitar? Shall I not play the guitar? Shall I live normally or not? Each moment of thinking is conditioned. Like you may think, I will play the guitar, but then when time comes, you don't play the guitar. Or you may think, I will sit with my eyes closed, but then you put on a tape or play with the baby instead, all by conditions. So the main point is each moment of seeing, each moment of hearing, each moment of thinking, each moment of liking or disliking, each moment of taking realities for I, each one is conditioned. So understand the truth now, understand what appears now. Otherwise, it's I all the time that keeps thinking, shall I go this way or that way? Shall I pick up the guitar or not? Shall I still meditate or stop meditating? Only the understanding works its way. When understanding works its way, and there's more and more understanding of dharmas as conditioned, less and less thought of doing something to have understanding or trying to get a quick result, less thought of focusing on a particular object or sitting in a special way to get that particular result, but by conditions. So what is most precious is understanding right now. Like right now, no playing of the guitar, no hearing of that sound, no playing with the baby, no focusing on a particular object, but the seeing now, this hearing now, this clinging now, this ignorance now. So there can be a little understanding at this very moment. And this is the way there are less and less dilemmas, fewer and fewer problems in life, less and less thinking about, do I have to give it up or can I still do it? Because there's understanding that and confidence that each moment is conditioned. And in truth, there is only this moment now to be known.
So great. And I really appreciate about it. Thank you, Kumsala. Thank you, Achan. Thank you, everybody.
And the Buddha never said to anyone, do this, don't do that. Go to this place, don't go to that place. Pick up the guitar, don't pick up the guitar. Open your eyes, don't. He taught about seeing now, what is seen now, hearing now, what is heard now, for the purpose of understanding no self, no one who can do anything, no one who can choose anything, no one who can decide what to do in life, because each moment is conditioned, each seeing is conditioned, each movement is conditioned. All are anatta. That's the main point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perhaps Jan or Jonathan would like to add more to this topic.
What is Akita? What is Akita?
Akita, I think it's just an idea about something.
So it's something, right?
Yes.
And what is there in truth in the world? What did Buddha say? All dhammas are atta or anatta.
Yeah, I have some.
See,
Or
that's why
Dhamma.
see, so very subtle of each moment. And it's forgotten all the time because not enough understanding to begin to understand the truth when we are talking about the truth. But when there's no discussing of the truth, there is always something all the time, right? That's why we learn to understand it. Right understanding is quite far away from the truth of any moment. That's why the last word before he died, heedless, and did not underestimate the truth, just live heedlessly. See, not understand that the best thing or the best reality or the best moment is understanding the truth. Only that. Because whatever is there is accumulated, no matter it's kusala or akusala. But what about no understanding at all? From birth to birth, on and on and on. And the moment of beginning to understand what is there as it is, to have confidence of the truth that actually there's no one, but they're conditioned to take what is there as I or something all the time in life without
that can give up anything? Sao, you said, do I have to give up this and that? But is there an I to give up?
Yeah. Yes, no eyes.
So just thinking, dreaming about following your meditation practice, or thinking, dreaming about giving it up, thinking or dreaming about a rule about what I can do and can't do. So it's all about I, not understanding of dhammas as they are at this moment. At this moment, can I give up seeing? Can I give up hearing? Can I give up thinking? Impossible, because no I that can do anything. So the thinking now is conditioned, just like the thinking about the guitar, or the thinking about the baby, or the thinking about meditation, just different moments of thinking that are conditioned and gone. No one that thinks, no one that can do anything, no one that can give up anything. So this is the main point, to come back to understand this moment as conditioned and anatta. Otherwise, it's still I setting rules about what I can do and what I cannot do, not understanding of dhammas.
So the key is understanding the reality at this moment.
Yes.
And let our life come as is usually, not to do anything or try to do anything. Thank you.
And actually, what is life? Life is just different moments of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. We think of life as playing the guitar, going for the swim, sitting cross-legged, but this is just a fantasy. In fact, they're just different moments of seeing now, hearing now, thinking now. Rupa's conditioned by the thinking, rupa's conditioned by temperature. Just different nama and rupa dhammas arising and falling away. Otherwise, we cling to the idea of this and that situation, cling to the idea of I in this or that situation, but it's not understanding about the truth now. And when there's understanding about the truth now, no dilemma, no problem.
Thank you. So
So it's not I living life naturally. Yeah. It's chittas arising and falling away naturally by conditions, just the way they're conditioned to arise and fall away, their natural laws.
Yeah, thank you, Kusa. I really appreciate what is.
And in truth, what is bhavana? What is the meaning of bhavana?
Bhavana, I think the Chetasika of Bhavana is improved understanding. I think it's the Panya Chetasika.
It's the development of understanding.
Yeah.
It's not the I should do this, or I should give up this, or I should close my eyes or keep my eyes open, or focusing on this, or it's understanding at this very moment that has to develop. And this is the meaning of bhavana.
Yeah. Thank you.
So there can be bhavana, whatever you want to call it in your language, right now, at this very moment, no matter when and where, no matter when you're at the sea or playing your guitar or sitting quietly. Understanding is the key, but it's not I that does anything. As soon as it's I trying to focus, or I trying to be aware, or I looking for a quicker method, it's not bhavana, it's not understanding. So back to this moment. Thanks, Sal. I think your question and topic's important for many people.
Thank you, son. Thank you. Thank you, Achan. Thank you, everybody.
Các đạo hữu Việt Nam thì có câu hỏi gì không ạ? I just wonder, invite anybody want to have a further question?
One more point is that when the understanding is not strong enough, the confidence is not firm enough. So then, of course, there are going to be doubts, thinking perhaps I should do something after all, like all my friends are doing. But this is because of not enough confidence, not enough firm understanding. Even the Pariyatti understanding has to be very firm with confidence to condition direct understanding about the truth now. When it's not firm enough, then there is thinking about I and maybe looking at methods and practices and what this and that. But the more confident understanding there is in the truth at this moment, less and less thinking like that, less thinking of the story of what I can do or should do. But as I mentioned earlier, the avijjasava, the subtle wrong understanding, arises very often, even now.
It reminds me of a friend who said that after seeing all of us, after some time listening to the Dhamma, that still has the same means of akusala. Although what we hear is true, the person concluded that that means it's not good enough, and there has to be some practice.
And the clinging to I, clinging to the good me and to having more goodness is so strong. So the attachment is not seen, attachment to having more kusala and the expectation. So the disappointment when it's not the way we would like it to be, not patient enough to appreciate that the akusala tendencies, which I mentioned earlier, the clinging, the ignorance, wrong view, has been accumulated for so long. So of course, there must be so much akusala arising by conditions. So there has to be the development of confidence and patience, all the paramis with understanding. There needs to be a lot of patience. But the main thing is the firm understanding. So less and less misunderstanding about an I that can do something or should do something. But no one says it's easy. And there are bound to be doubts and bound to be wrong understandings, looking for shortcuts because the clinging to self is so strong, wanting some kind of result.
That it takes time to appreciate that the eradication of akusala happens only at the moment of the chitta. So if we think that, oh, it seems that I have less dosa in some circumstances, that means that I have improved in understanding. I think that's totally wrong. Because as long as it's in the nusaya, then it will arise when there are conditions for it. Your microphone, Sarah.
I'm having quite a few technical problems. Okay, like one may live for a long time in a quiet temple in the countryside with no people around, nothing annoying or disturbing around, no conditions for anger. No, but what happens when it changes? What happens when one's back to work or living with one's family again, and the telephone is ringing and one has work commitments? So it's just a fantasy. Actually, the accumulations are all still there, ready to condition the arising of those klesa. And when there's clinging to not having them, then this is the wrong way. When there's understanding, it doesn't mind whether it's dosa or attachment or seeing or metta or hardness that appears, because whatever appears, it's just a Dhamma and it's gone instantly. Less and less minding about what the reality is in life now.
And one time I think about akusala, I think as akusala is danger because akusala, when akusala appear, is cover everything. So it lets me far away the understand of reality at this moment. Can I think about akusala like this?
Thinking of akusala as dangerous without understanding really what the danger is can mislead one into thinking that akusala has to be avoided or replaced by kusala. And this is not the development of understanding at all. Or one thinks of akusala as a hindrance to the arising of awareness and understanding. And this is not correct either, because although there cannot be awareness and understanding at the same moment as akusala, and nevertheless it can arise between moments of akusala, and that is how it is possible for there to be awareness and understanding of the characteristic of dosa or lobha, any kind of akusala. And so having a focus on kusala and akusala is not the path to the development of understanding. It's the path to the development of more kusala of the mundane kind, and then leading to eventually to jhana if there is serious interest in it. So the person who is interested in having more kusala and less akusala is not going to be whose main focus is having more kusala and less akusala, is not going to be developing the path. That is a different kind of development. If it is true kusala that's being developed, it is a different kind of development, a different kind of kusala to the insight into the true nature of realities. So in terms of what we are discussing here, which is the essence of the Buddha's teaching, it's not helpful. We can say that. And it's possibly the wrong path. If we think that by doing this, having this approach that you described, there will be conditions for more understanding of the true nature of realities, then that itself is a misunderstanding, leading in and brings one to wrong practice. It conditions wrong practice. Thank you, Zhao.
Thank you, John. So helpful too. Thank you.
It might be helpful to consider this topic more next time. I think there's more to discuss about it.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
สวัสดีค่ะอาจารย์ค่ะ
Thank you, everybody.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadee-ka.
for sharing.
So we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Swatika Achan. Thank you, Achan and
Bye.
Jonathan.